Hi there, I'm Randy Patterson. This is another in a series of posts on cognitive distortions. These are ways that human beings routinely misperceive the world around us. We're looking here at the screen between external reality and the world we perceive and how reality changes on the way in. In my last video, I discussed filtering, which is a process in which positive things in your life get ignored and only the negative gets any attention. You don't even notice the people who like you, the things you get right, the food in the fridge, the sun in the sky, the bus that came on time, or the abilities you really do have. Today, I want to talk about something slightly less extreme, but in the same area: disqualifying the positive. In filtering, you might not even recognize that there are any positives in your life. In disqualifying the positives, you might see that actually there are some good things, but they don't have any weight. They don't symbolize anything. They have no bigger meaning. And because of this, they really don't count. This all goes back to the concept of symbolic value, which I've spoken about before. This is the idea that events or facts or characteristics of things exist in themselves, but they also have bigger meaning. For example, let's say someone hands you two numbers and asks you what the total is, and you figure it out. There, done. Whatever. But this might also have some symbolic value. It means you can add. It means you're a person who can do basic arithmetic, which, trust me, not everybody can. Let's try another one. Someone falls in the water kayaking, and you paddle over and you line up your boat and you get the water out of theirs and you brace it so that they can get back in. And you don't tip over. Well, big deal. Nothing really bad happened. But the symbolic value might be, you know how to do a tea rescue. That's good. And maybe things would have been worse if you hadn't been there. Also good. And maybe you're ready for that trip to the Broken Islands. That'd be nice. How about another one? You write a report for a company and they give you the contract. Well, so what? They need somebody, you're willing to do it. But what's the symbolic value? You know how to write. You can come up with a proposal, one better than others they may have got. And having done it once, you can probably do it again. There's a lot of meaning to that success. So there are events, and then there's this invisible layer on top of them, like icing on a cake, what the event means. And if you're still a bit vague about this concept, it's probably because I've been using positive examples. That layer of meaning is more obvious to most people when we flip it to the negative. So let's try that. Someone turns you down for a date. What's the symbolic value? Well, listen, you've either done this yourself or you've listened to a friend doing it. You are undateable. You're hopelessly ugly. This is only the first of a lifetime of turndowns, and you are never going to meet anyone. Well, it's tempting to think it doesn't actually mean that, and you'd be right, but people add that negative symbolic value without thinking about it. Okay, you go through a job interview and you don't get hired. Symbolic value? Clearly, you're not good enough and you never will be. You fail the exam. Symbolic value? You're stupid. You don't get an invitation to the party. Symbolic value? Nobody likes you. The negative symbolic value gets applied really easily, even when it's completely exaggerated or isn't true at all. Disqualifying the positive means taking any positive symbolic value the situation might have had and throwing it in the garbage. Yeah, you have those friends, but really they're just taking pity on you and have you around for laughs. Yes, you passed that exam, but any idiot could have passed that exam. Well, true, you managed a kayak tea rescue, but only because the ocean was really calm. If there were any waves, you would have been clueless. Oh, you got invited to that wedding, but only because people felt obliged. That person said yes to the date, but only because they don't know the real you. They'll soon figure it out and dump you. Oh, you have a place to live. Well, but almost everybody does, so it's foolish to appreciate it. So these good things exist in your life, but they have no impact. They don't mean anything to you. And any meaning they might have gets dismantled right away. Hey, you did really well packing up that trailer. Yeah, just luck. I'll screw it up next time. The funny thing about this is that people who disqualify the positive don't tend to disqualify the negative. Bad stuff is really meaningful. It's a judgment on them. Good stuff doesn't count for anything. And the result is that it doesn't really matter how much good stuff is going on because it has no impact. So if you think of your self-worth as a scale, there's all these lead weights on the negative side, but the positive things are weightless. Now, we don't want to ignore negatives altogether. You know, you didn't manage to do the practice T-rescue maneuver. Okay, this means you don't know it. Best to practice some more. But we don't want to ignore the positives either. As with all of these distortions, the key is awareness, noticing that it's happening. And then it can help to have a brief phrase or reminder that you can tell yourself, like a mantra. In this case, positives count, no excuses. Don't tear them apart. There are some more distortions to come, so stay tuned. My books, including the Assertiveness Workbook, How to Be Miserable, and How to Be Miserable in Your 20s, are all available from bookstores and online booksellers. There's information about each of them at randypatterson.com. And my online courses can be found at psychologysalon.teachable.com. Thanks for watching.